Hey everyone, I'm Lara.
I'm Spencer, and we're Married with Board Games. I don't care for romantic comedies. Not my style of movie. But as with pretty much any subject, if you slap it onto a board game, you got me intrigued.
And that's exactly what's been done in Fog of Love, a two-player cooperative game that claims to be a romantic comedy as a board game. Now, being Married with Board Games, we were very excited to play a game together that allows us to play characters in a relationship.
But concept is one thing. Does the game live up to what it promises? We'll give you a brief overview on how to play, and then we'll tell you what we think. Here's an overhead view of the game as it is set up. I'll show you individual parts of the board and the cards here in just a minute, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how it would look once it's all set up. So in this game, you'll play two characters and take them through a romance, a story, and that unfolds through various chapters. And one player will sit over here. This will be the pink character, and over here will sit the blue character. So you're going to play some scenes from your hands for your relationships and then decide how to react to those situations. The game will end after you play through the 3 chapters and then the finale. And then at the end, you'll discover how your relationship evolves or ends. Now, it is possible for both of the characters to be happy or for the relationship to end, but it's also very possible that one character may be happy and the other one may not be. The game comes with a tutorial that you'll play through and also 3 additional love stories. Now they all come in these little packets that you'll open up, add those cards to the various decks, and it'll be the different story with the chapters that you play through. It tells you here at the bottom what order that you'll open them in, but it's kind of a neat feeling to be able to open these up and progress through the different stories. I'm going to start off by showing you a player area. So this is the pink player character. I do want to show you that you can do, but the character card has a male and female side so that you can play the game male and female or male and male, female and female, however you choose to play the game and however you want your relationships to be. Around the character card are numbers, and that's how you keep track of a thing called satisfaction. You want your character to be satisfied in the relationship, and at the end of the game you will look to see if your character is happy or not. Based on that, you have this set of destiny cards. They're essentially like end game goals. So for example, with the love team, if you end up with this at the end of the game, you will stay in the relationship. You will fulfill your destiny if you have a shared balance of 6 gentleness or more with your partner, and the sum of your partner's satisfaction, that's what that heart is 60 or more. Now, you're going to be doing different things in the game to increase your various traits or your aspects, your satisfaction, like I mentioned. So many of these destiny cards have different goals. This one is, this is a different aspect. This is a different number for your satisfaction. Some of these actually say, I don't have that one. Let's look at this one. Some of these actually say you will break up. So if you end up with this card at the end of the game, you'll break up. And that's a sad story, but hey, it happens, right? Basically what's going to happen is through the events of certain cards in the game, you'll be swapping in and out those destiny cards. And you have to be kind of strategic about which ones you want to keep. And sometimes you might not have a choice. At the beginning of the game, your character is also dealt a certain number of trait goals. Those are these here on this stand. You also have features, which are these cards right there, and finally you have an occupation, this card right there. Trait goals are kept secret from your teammate. At the end of the game, for example, for this trait goal, basically your character is innocent, and so you want your sincerity shared balance with your partner, so both of you have 5 or more on that. If you don't reach that goal at the end of the game, you will lose satisfaction points. If you do meet that goal at the end of the game, you will gain satisfaction. These other features up here and your occupation will also affect your traits. For example, if you are a clumsy person, your extroversion is going to be down a point. If you have sneakers for whatever reason, that means you're curious, and so that trait is going to start up 1. What's going to happen is through the course of the game, you're going to take turn playing these scene cards. So this is just an example of one. So this will say, so if I played this, I read, I really want to know more about what you want to avoid in our relationship. So I play this card down. My partner will look at this, see what the results are of these choices, and then they will select one and play it. For example, if they chose, I really want to avoid blank, then their sincerity will go up by 1. They will also gain a satisfaction point, and then the other player, the person that played the card, will also gain a satisfaction point. But if they chose B, then their extroversion will go down, and then the player that played the card will lose a satisfaction point, because it's kind of like a conflict that they're trying to avoid. That's how you're going to manipulate your trait goals and your satisfaction through the use of these scene cards. Here's another example of how you might manipulate your satisfaction. Now this is a both choose. This is, what's the most romantic quote? And again, you're choosing these questions, or you're choosing the answers based on your character, not what you think, but what your character, based on their traits, might choose. So both players are going to choose what they think their character would choose. If they match, both players will, or the player of the card will get +2 satisfaction, and they'll get to draw a new scene. And then the partner will also gain +2. If you don't match, well then, nothing happens. There are even secret cards. When you play them hidden, and some other cards may force them to be revealed. However, if they're not revealed, it shows you there at the end of the game, if you're still together, both will get +4 satisfaction. There are good and bad secret cards, so that's another type of card that you can play in this game. But essentially, what I'm trying to do as this pink character is reach these goals and fulfill a destiny card. When you're choosing an answer to a card, you do that through the use of these chips. On one side, it's got the nice Fog of Love logo, and on the other side, it's got a letter. So you will secretly select your answer and then put it down there on the choice spot. You'll keep track of your traits through this area of the board right here. So if my partner played this card and I chose, I really want to avoid ... and then I would go up on sincerity, then I'd take one of my markers and put it right there. Now remember those trait goals that I showed you. This right here says, I will complete this goal if the shared balance is of 5 or more. Now this is where you have to kind of have a tug of war kind of thing. If through the course of the game I have some there, but because this is a shared goal, my partner has some placed here. Essentially what happens right now, the way this is, they cancel each other out, so that's at 0. So I have to overcompensate for that, because remember, I need 5 on this one. So I'd either need to somehow, through cards I play or through answers that I give, inform my partner that I'm trying to go up higher on sincerity to get them to play some on there, or try to play them on myself. The structure of a game looks like this. You start out with this setup card. It'll give you special rules if you have any, tell you which destinies to put in your hand, which ones to leave out of the game, tells you what scenes to add into the game if you haven't already, and also gives you a starting hand. Now, there are 3 different types of scenes. You've got sweet scenes, serious scenes, and drama scenes. Now, they're going to have, some of those are going to have more impactful results as you get into the serious and drama deck. The sweet scenes are, you know, what they sound like. They're sweet, they're fun, they're nice. But for example, for a drama card, this is Facebook drama, oh no. And so you've got a little setup there, and you can see that the effects are a little bit more impactful as far as your traits that you're changing and your satisfaction that you're gaining or losing. On the other side of the setup card gives you the opening that sets the scene basically. There's a challenge, chapter length, so there are 3 chapters. Chapter 1 will be 8 cards, Chapter 2 will be 14 cards, and Chapter 3 will be 8 cards. That's how many cards you're going to be playing in the chapters. And then finally it gives you, remember I was talking about the trait goals, It tells you each achieved trait goal is +5, whereas each missed trait goal is -3. You'll play through 8 chapters, and they set the scene for what's happening. Disco star under a full moon. And then this will go here. This will tell you how you're starting, and then each scene you play on top of that will go up above it until you reach the number that it tells you, in this case 8 cards. After that, you'll discard all those. You'll start over with chapter 2. Now chapter 2 tells you you play 14 cards. It also tells you which types of cards you can draw. After you play 14 cards there, then you go to chapter 3, same thing, except that's 8 cards. You can only draw drama cards from that one. And then finally you get to the finale, which is a little bit different. Basically, you reveal your destinies, the ones you still have. You select one, your final destiny, to see if you can reach that goal. And then you look at your trait goals, and then those will affect your satisfaction, and then that might again inform whether or not you fulfill your destiny. There are some nice plastic containers. Have the Fog of Love on there where you keep your little pieces. There's a place pretty much for everything on the board, and it tells you where to put it all. Personal discard, character card, synopsis, special events, chapters. Here's your play area. And then this is very clearly telling you sweet, serious drama deck. And then again, you've got your trait, occupation, and feature cards down there. You play through the chapters and the finale, do everything those cards tell you to do, and then once you resolve and see what the outcome of your relationship is, you can reflect on everything that you've played through and see if your relationship survives. You can also see that the organization in the box is great too. You've got a place for the wooden discs, you've got a place for each of the different decks, the feature deck, the trait deck, and the occupation deck. Here's a place where you can keep all of the different stories with a tab for each. Keep those cards separate. There are tabs for sweet, serious drama deck. You've got your place for all of your character-specific cards. You've got a place for the tutorial cards. So everything is very well organized in a nice custom insert.
Now that you've gotten a look at what's inside the box, let's talk about it.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so first off, when you're looking at Fog of Love, I mean, this doesn't give you just like a feeling of romantic comedy.
No, it doesn't.
No, but I understand why. Obviously, they don't want a specific face on the box, but they do want to show that it's a couple.
Well, also they don't want it to be like too, flowers
and hearts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think the box itself is appealing. Oh, what is this? Mm-hmm. Which I also feel like the game on the table evokes that same idea.
Thank you. Yes, it doesn't look like Valentine's Fest on the table, and I appreciate that as well. Romance and lovey-dovey are two different things, and this I agree. This is interesting, eye-catching. And it makes you curious about what's in there.
That but like I said, on the board, it's like, what is going on here? You've got those aspects, and you've got little.
That's so true.
You've got little chips on each of those, and you've got your big chips that you're putting down, and just the graphic design.
And those cards.
It's really cool to look at. And again, it's like you don't come up on this and see like pass, see a Valentine. No, it's like, what is going on here? And you. Really draws you in.
It just looks very cool.
It does.
And the way that they laid everything out on the board it's really nice that you have such. It just makes sense where these things go.
When you've got a place for everything.
And so going along with that, I think the quality of these things is very good.
Yes.
There is a lot of reading.
Yes.
In this game. And so the cards are a good size. You can read these things, but at the same time, it's not like adult big print.
Yeah, definitely.
A large print like on our mom's cell phones. And with that, I mean, like you said, we've got all the wooden discs.
Those are
out
cool.
there for the trait aspects. You've got your chips.
I love those. Great
choices.
Weight.
Yes.
Very good weight. I love clinking them in my hands.
Well, and I like the way they look.
Yeah.
There's a nice.
Got the cool logo on one side. Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. I love the little stands you put your cards in. It's got a great insert. Those little wooden chips
Yes.
come
Yeah,
in the little
I love
box.
my little plastic box.
Yeah. Very well done. Just a well-made game all around. Highly recommend it, at least from that aspect of the game itself, the physical game.
Very true, very true. So moving along with that, so if you're a newbie coming into this game, they give you a tutorial.
That tutorial is fantastic.
Oh man.
And I
Because
almost...
it is a whole new experience playing this game. I mean, gamers, I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's
No.
not difficult at all. It's just you are not prepared for the way that this will work.
Right.
And it's so nice to have that.
Well, you're absolutely right.
Not only just learning the mechanics of how things go and how a turn works, but also preparing you for what to expect and how to play the game
exactly.
with your partner.
And I really wish that more games would take a page out of this book in that you learn as you play that first game.
Very true.
It's kind of how... I can't think of a specific example of another game that does this. I know there are others out there, but it's not just read the rule book and then figure it out. You learn as you play.
Right, as you go through the decks, then a card comes up and says,
Here's a new concept. Here's how it works.
yes, you will now be ending this
But at the same time, it's not just a stale, this is how to play. There's a game intertwined with the tutorial.
Yeah, you're still playing
you're still
the
playing
game.
as you learn, which
Yes.
is great. So with that, it's very easy to learn. I think it would be very easy to teach. If you want to skip the tutorial and bring someone new in, I think it's very easy to teach. And, once you get going, there have been one or two instances where we need to refer to the rule book, but really, you can just go and play.
Yes, because also there's a nice player aid
Yeah.
as well to help you with iconography or terms.
Yeah.
There are some different kinds of terms in here that you need to know, and thankfully they have those laid out for you. Right there on your
So
card.
I wouldn't say it's complex. I say there's an awesome amount of decisions and how those decisions affect your traits and how they might affect your partner's traits. But as far as mechanically how it works, it's not very complex at all.
But I think there's also strategy
Totally.
to trying to figure out, like in our most recent gameplay, I got the feeling that you needed to change one of your traits. I had a card to change a trait. I didn't want to change my trait. And thankfully something came up that we got to swap traits.
Yeah.
You got to be intuitive with your partner.
Yeah.
And
Well-
that's something that we didn't figure out until we went through that tutorial. That's how I learned that.
Well, and on that note, I feel like, we've talked about how it's not very mechanically complex, so that it is easy to bring in a non-gamer, say a non-gaming spouse or partner. But in that first game or two, like you mentioned, you might not get those little nuances. And so,
Right.
which is great because those first games might not go as well. But again, you're getting a spouse to play or a partner to play that normally wouldn't. And then you're kind of teaching them how to strategize in that way for other games.
But at the same time, it's still a rich experience because even whether or not you're doing well in the game, it is a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
The scenes that are coming up and the way that you're answering and the way you need to answer because of your character's traits.
Right. And that's the tricky thing. So this is, you really do have to role play kind of. Now you can get as deep into it as you want to. You can stay into your character the entire time, or you can just do it as you are when it tells you to, because there are situations where it tells you to answer as your character. Obviously, the more you get into it, the better your enjoyment of the game is. But that's the tricky thing too that we had to turn off in our first time we played through this. We had to turn off how we would answer.
Yes.
You have to get into your character, what their trait goals are, and you're going to answer a question that you personally would not answer that way.
But then you also, not even just based on your character, there are sometimes that you are needing your partner
Yeah.
and or there are some cards that you're trying to predict what your partner will select. So you also need to be thinking and paying attention to what your partner is selecting, and things like that, so that you are kind of intuitive of what they need and everything because of satisfaction.
The satisfaction, that's what I was about to get at, is that adds another layer, is some of your destiny cards have that satisfaction goal. So not only are you trying to meet your trait goals, you got to get that satisfaction up higher too, so you really need a match.
Not even just for you, for your partner as well, which it's usually going to go up higher if you both match on answers. And that's why I feel like it's not a game.
Right.
It is this just experience, especially for, I mean, we're a married couple, but we're also actors. So we are playing out these scenes and we're getting to the goal, almost like we're improving a scene together.
Yeah, and that's fun. It's a blast. And again, this game doesn't require that you're an actor, it doesn't require that you're an improv person. It just, your enjoyment of the game is going to increase tenfold if you can kind of let loose a little bit and just get into these characters and play around with them and experience people. I almost put it this way, it's like we're experiencing like falling in love all over again, but as different people. And that might sound weird, but at the same time it's fun.
It is fun, and I feel like it's a great connection between the two of us, and it helps that we have that connection. So that going to that, it is perfect for couples.
Yes.
So I think it would be kind of difficult to play if you're not significant others.
It depends on you as a person.
Yeah.
We know from our experience that it's an excellent couple experience. But I personally can't imagine, going through these situations with, say, a friend. I just wouldn't have that kind of connection with them. And it just doesn't, at least for me, I wouldn't feel the same way as going through this game with you.
Right.
So we can't speak for everybody. If this kind of thing if that sounds like something that wouldn't bother you, whatever.
On top of that, I don't know that I would want to go through some of these cards with anyone else but you, because there are some adult situations.
Yeah, there are. Now, you could, if you wanted to, remove those cards, because they're not, they're
not essential.
They're not essential, and they're few and far between. So a couple will come up. We don't have to get in, and it's not like NC-17, but it's adult situations that, kids, I'd say.
There are things that I would not allow someone under the age of 16 to read.
So be aware of that, and you can totally remove those and be fine with that, but that is something to be aware of. And so going along with those cards, there is a little bit of a thing where when you shuffle, you're shuffling your different decks, whatever, there is that element of, because of the randomness, you may see some cards more than others. And that's an element in any game that you'll find where you're shuffling your cards. So we like to see some of those scenes that we haven't seen before.
Right.
And so, but there are some scenes that we've seen that have come up every single time we've played, whereas we know there are some scenes we haven't seen yet.
Same, not even just scenes, but also character traits, occupations.
Yeah, that too. There are huge stacks of those.
And things like that. So we've kind of decided no more shuffling. Because the stuff we've done before should be going to the bottom of the deck now. Let's leave it down there at the bottom so we can get to the new things.
Yeah. But really, that's one of the only negatives I have to say. But again, it's not a negative. It's just the nature of the game, really.
Right. And again, like you said, we can remove those cards, especially since we know there are going to be some very exciting expansions coming out that will add new cards.
I love that too. It's not a legacy game, but it almost feels like when you, at least in this box, when you get done with X chapter or whatever they're called.
The finale?
No. When you get done with a packet of cards, you can open up the next one because they add a few more things.
I wouldn't call it legacy because it is a whole new relationship. You've got new characters. And it's a new situation.
Right. But I like that feel of opening cards, adding those. But you're right. They already have expansion packs added, new, I don't know, what are they called? Stories. I guess stories, planned that are coming out. But that is neat that they've already got all of that planned. The support for this game is going to be really cool.
So excited to play
because they're quirky things like a paranormal relationship,
or the in-laws coming to visit.
Yeah, so we're excited to see what those do.
But I have to. I mean, this isn't a planned bullet point that Spencer has lined out for us, but I just have to say that as much as I enjoy this game, and it's not just playing a game, it is, I really do feel like we are falling in love again, and it is a romantic experience.
Yeah.
The best feeling was when Spencer looked at me the other day and said, I can't wait to play Fog of Love with you again.
Yeah.
And that was just, it was so wonderful. And so to be able to take our relationship and board games and put this together, I'm thankful for it. And I say major kudos on this game.
Yeah. Well, and, there could be that tendency to, in a game like this, for it to drag on. That could make the story too long, but I think
they've done a great job.
Yeah.
They've got set lengths for each scene.
I like spending time with you. Like you said, I do. But, you don't want the story to drag out. Like any movie.
Yeah, at some point, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back to being us.
Yeah.
And not be these people that we've made up. Good
point. Now, you kind of hinted at it, and we're almost done. We just like to talk about this game a lot. It almost got a semi-co-op feel to it, because you're working together to reach certain goals, but also you've got to sometimes make decisions that might hurt your partner in order to reach your goals. So there's that intuition, like you said. It's almost like a deduction kind of thing of, ooh, what are they going to play? So that's really cool too. And finally, we've danced around it the whole time, but it's very thematic.
Yes.
I mean, the decisions that you make affect your traits the way they really would in real life. And they affect your relationship the way they would. And it's just so neat to see that. And especially...
Well, I think it's the other way around. I think it's the traits affect your decisions.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you do make a decision, your trait increases or decreases based on what you do. But yeah, your trait goals inform what you make.
Well, and you need to be paying attention, because there were some cards that came up in our most recent play about being willing to change for your partner. And you need to pay attention to, if you are trying to achieve this certain trait goal, and every time you play a card to give you that bonus, and your partner is not going for that, and it's something that you need to be in sync on that, if it's not working out, you need to change for your partner. And again, very thematic.
Yeah, very thematic, all around, enjoyable experience. And so Fog of Love provides many memorable experiences for players to enjoy, just as long as you do a little role-playing.
We are in love with Fog of Love. Every time we play, we have this kind of warm, fuzzy feeling, even if we lost.
The game is truly unique and offers a satisfying experience for couples and even for partners who aren't gamers. It's quite easy to pick up on. It doesn't feel like a board game.
We do have questions about non-couples playing, but if you don't feel like the situations presented in this game would be awkward role-playing with a friend, go for it.
And so we recommend Fog of Love, giving it a rating of 8 and a seal of excellence. Couples will have a great time with this one.
We're going to box this one up for now. If you want to have a great time with us, follow us on our social media accounts. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Married with BG.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.